Welcome to my channel.
In a house built on bloodlines, one boy was born to be forgot. Training alone, no matter how rigorous, has its limits. It can't prepare you for a true fight, one where you're driven by pure hatred, giving everything you have against a skilled opponent. Only in such a brutal clash, where every strike is meant to end the other, can a warrior truly forge themselves. In that fire, they would grow. I sat watching, a silent observer in this chaos, as the world around me seemed to unravel. My gaze was fixed, calculating, trying to make sense of the unfolding madness. The Brack estate was no longer just a place. It was a battleground for my future.
Go die, you can go die. Look at him talking trash, he's fine.
Wakio looked down, wiping blood from his mouth, a smirk playing on his lips even as a bystander yelled at him to drop dead. The blows kept coming, each one a testament to the raw, uncontrolled power of Chell, a relentless barrage that seemed to have no end. Wakio moved with a sudden, vicious grace, his sword a blur as he pressed his attack. He drove Chell back, each strike radiating raw power, a whirlwind of steel and fury. Chell, still defiant, grinned through the pain. A dog, that's a compliment, right? Then a fist connected, a dull thud against flesh, and the world seemed to warp around the impact. Chell reeled, taking a savage blow straight to the face, blood already blossoming. He coughed, a wet, guttural sound, spitting crimson onto the ground. Wakio watched him fall to his knees, utterly defeated. From the sidelines, Barik yelled, demanding his brother get up, but it was useless. Chell struggled, pushing himself back up, pure rage contorting his features. With a desperate lunge, he threw a handful of dirt, blinding Wakio for a precious second. Wakio flinched, his eyes wide in surprise, momentarily stunned by the cheap shot. But it wasn't enough. Wakio recovered, delivering another brutal punch that sent Chell sprawling again. How utterly bothersome this all was, I thought, watching the spectacle. Every second was vital, and I had no time to waste on this fool's theatrics. The fight raged on, a blur of motion and flashing steel against the backdrop of the estate. A guttural cry tore through the air, sharp and raw, as Chell stumbled. Wakio, cloaked and swift, pressed his advantage with a sweeping attack. A splash of red followed the blade's arc, painting the scene in a grim, fleeting moment. Chell's heavy, ragged breaths echoed, a struggle against the inevitable. Wakio drove his sword deep into Chell's side, a brutal, decisive blow.
You've got skill, but this is where it ends for you.
Another pained scream ripped from Chell's throat, a sound of agony and defeat. Among the onlookers, someone muttered, "The bastard could have finished him cleanly. This isn't a duel, it's just." The blade twisted deeper, blood welling around the hilt, a sickening sound of flesh tearing. Chell's eyes rolled back, his face contorted in a silent, final grimace of pain. His body went limp, collapsing to the ground with a dull thud. Wakio stood over him, the sword still embedded, Chell a broken heap at his feet. I watched the scene, my mind racing. There was no time to waste on this foolishness.
Prove the Count's innocence with your death, Chell. Consider it an honor to die while serving a purpose.
Chell, unwavering, raised his sword high, a strange resolve in his eyes. The force of their collision was immense, shattering the ground around them as Wakio met Chell's strike. Chell staggered back, the blade still lodged in his shoulder, a look of disbelief on his face. Blood dripped from the sword, coating Wakio's hand. Chell roared, pushing against the pain, his eyes burning with a desperate fury.
Damn it, you're one persistent bastard.
Chell seemed to transform, a fiery aura surrounding him as he embodied the spirit of a warrior preparing for death. He lunged forward, a final, desperate attack, the ground cracking under the sheer force of his intent. Wakio dodged, a blur of motion as Chel's blow ripped through the air where he had been a moment before. Chel's sword met Wakio's with a clang, sending shockwaves of energy through the air as they clashed again and again. A true battle, I've always thought, needs a spark, an ignition point to truly begin. To ascend to a higher plane of combat, to push past your limits, you have to be willing to burn every single thing you possess. Chel, wounded and desperate, pressed his attack, his movements fueled by a raw, primal intensity as he connected with Wakio. The force of the impact jarred his hands, but he held on, his grip tight on the bloodied hilt. Wakio stumbled back, the blow momentarily disorienting him as Chel pressed his advantage. But Wakio recovered quickly, his eyes still burning with an almost feral intensity as Chel stood over him, breathing heavily.
Tired.
Chel dropped to one knee, the sword clattering to the ground beside him as Wakio lay still, unmoving. A small crowd had gathered, watching the brutal spectacle with wide eyes.
Hey, good job, you rude bastard. You always have to watch a fight till the end. Hey, help me move him. Where's the doctor?
I watched the exchange, a faint smile on my lips, turning my attention from the commotion to the strange man who had just praised Wakio. He was right about one thing. Wakio had the raw, untamed spirit of a true warrior. My gaze settled on the brutal victor, a subtle sense of approval in my eyes. And it was true. No one in this world could match his ill-tempered personality. Meanwhile, Chel lay on the ground, groaning in pain, his body badly beat and bleeding. The chaos would have to wait. I had to focus on my next move. The Brack estate, usually so grand and imposing, now felt like a mausoleum under the night sky, its windows dark and lifeless. Inside, Lord Malin stood with Chel, his eldest son, as guards watched silently from above, spears crossed in grim readiness. Chel looked agitated, a sharp, worried expression on his face as he seemed to be arguing with his father. Then Meral, face painted in tribal marks, slipped into the room through a window, looking at Chel with a knowing smirk. "You're looking rather anxious," he announced. Chel turned, clearly startled, and demanded to know where Meral's knight was. Meral simply tossed a wrapped bundle to Chel, who caught it with a look of surprise. "What about Ian?" Chel asked, his voice tight with urgency. "You've killed him, right?" Meral remained silent, his hand extended as if to pass something else, while Chel clutched the bundle and a small scroll. Chel looked down at the scroll in his hand, his expression unreadable, a wave of purple energy swirling behind him. He quickly unrolled the scroll, revealing a message. "Therefore, we have checked that the Bracks have gone against their word and sent an unregistered bastard child as their token of amity." His eyes widened as he continued to read, the words a stark accusation, because of the attempt to smuggle Gyura leaves through the child. The moment lingered in silence. Then came the final crushing blow. "We hereby nullify the alliance with the Bracks." The news hit me like a physical punch, leaving me gasping for air. My mind reeled. What was happening? This couldn't be real. I could only watch as the messenger, Meral, stumbled away, leaving me to process the utter betrayal. My grip tightened on the damning message. These people had truly gone too far. I snarled, a visceral rage tearing through me. "Those damn traitors! I'll kill them all!" My words echoed in the suddenly silent hall, the guards at the door standing rigid. Around me, the opulent room was a wreck of overturned furniture and scattered papers, a testament to the chaos that had erupted.
Lord Malin's voice cut through my anger, cold and resolute. "So they want to fight, huh? Then I only have one choice. Since I've been accused of treason, it's all or nothing." He turned his back to me, the words leaving his lips like a vow. Who cares about their help? I will drive out the investigation team and the capital's army on my own and gain independence from Barrio. He pointed to Chell and another companion. Chell and you hide in the secret storage room. Do not ever come out until I come find you myself. But the Brack family's captain protested. What about you? Why, you need to come with us too. Chell, ever the loyal son, added, I agree with her.
Lord Malin's response was a roar, silencing any further argument.
This is a fight for Brack's independence from the Barrio Empire, a fight for our sovereignty. He turned from them, a grim set to his jaw, staring out at the night sky, illuminated by the distant city lights. He snapped his fingers, and the lantern sitting on the windowsill ignited with a sudden burst of flame. We must act before the capital's army arrives.
Just then, a frantic soldier ran up to the Brack family's captain, shouting that there was a problem. Captain Durga, the soldier explained, had set the Brack mansion on fire and was on the run. The Brack family's captain clicked her tongue, her expression hardening. She ordered one man, Philip, to report the situation to the capital's reinforcements, while the rest were to follow her. She moved quickly, her voice sharp, ordering them to search everywhere and make sure Captain Durga didn't escape their territory, even if it meant killing him. She cursed, muttering that the mansion would have been hers once everything was taken care of. The audacity of Captain Durga to set it ablaze infuriated her. The anger in her voice was palpable, a sharp, cutting sound that echoed through the chaos. A terrified scream ripped through the air, swallowed by the roar of the inferno. From inside the burning mansion, another desperate cry rose, raw with fear. Faces pressed against a window, pleading with anyone who could hear them. We're trapped in here. We'll do anything you want us to. Please save us. Lord Malin's men looked on, a few of them asking what they should do, their faces grim.
They would have died anyway with Captain Durga, Lord Malin dismissed, his voice cold and detached. Just try to put out the fire. Have more people look for Captain Durga instead of rescuing them. He shouted orders. Track down Captain Durga. A few stay behind at the mansion, the rest head out.
The Brack family's captain, her face set in a furious mask, watched the inferno rage, ignoring the distant pleas for help. Not far away, a rider on horseback, presumably Lord Malin, galloped through the night, leaving the burning estate behind.
I sent letters through the butler, he murmured, a calculated glint in his eye. One was addressed to the Heavenly Warrior clan, and the second to First Prince Merv, the last one.
He called out a name, Theo, as if summoning someone he had been expecting. Then I heard it, a shout of "My lord," followed by Chell's panicked breathing as he clutched at his head. A moment later, a warrior named Theo burst from the trees, looking utterly distraught.
It's fallen through, Theo gasped, collapsing before Chell. They've betrayed us.
Chell crouched, his voice low and urgent. We should have enough time since we're far from the capital. He looked at Theo, a determined grin spreading across his face. Of course, the Brack soldiers are the best. He was talking about the Brack army, the top elite forces, trained specifically to fight the Heavenly Warrior clan.
Theo and the other warriors nodded, a grim resolve on their faces. Yes, my lord. Chell caught my eye and gave me a confident smirk.
He stood, drawing his sword and raising it high. Let's go.
The warriors around him, my allies, cheered, ready to fight to regain their ordinary lives. An eagle, released by one of the warriors, soared into the night sky, its wings beating powerfully. From a vantage point in the forest, I watched the eagle fly over the Brack mansion, now fully engulfed in flames. The title of the story appeared above the burning mansion, a stark reminder of the upheaval I was now part of. Inside a room, far from the inferno, a single lit candle cast a warm glow over a sheath dagger, resting on a wooden table.
A healer, holding a bowl, instructed me as I sat beside the bed that he was going to retrieve more medicine and to keep a close eye on the patient's condition.
As the healer turned to leave, Chief Kakantir entered the room, his expression one of concern.
Chief Kakantir immediately asked how long it would be until Vice Head Winchin could get back on his feet.
The healer explained that Winchin's injuries were severe enough to kill an ordinary man, but his immense vitality meant he was holding up fairly well.
Chief Kakantir listened, his hand resting on his chin, as he looked towards the injured Vice Head Winchin, who lay recovering in bed with me still watching over him.
I offered a subtle, reassuring smile, letting them know that it was not at all a lost cause. My eyes glowed with golden energy as I affirmed that where there was a will, there was always a way.
I placed my hand gently on Vice Head Winchin's chest, and a brilliant golden light enveloped him, beginning the true work of healing. This concludes the chapter, and the next part of our story will be available soon. That was the chapter. Subscribe for the next part of his rise.